Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is HN Annotated. It's no secret that hunting xenomorphs has been a big part of the Predator's culture. It's how they test their young, and they go so far as to breed xenomorphs on another planet in order to get different results. But did you ever wonder who started all of this? Well, this brings us to the story and legacy of Lord, the very first Predator to hunt a xenomorph. Lord is an ancient predator whose most notable feat is him being the first predator ever to kill a xenomorph, or serpent, on a hunt. This act made him the most revered hunter of all time, even thousands of years after his death. Predator elders still remember him and his accomplishments. Upon his death, he was buried in a pyramid on the planet BG-386 alongside the body of the first xenomorph queen the predators captured, likely to bind the two who started this all together for all time. And this by all means should be the end of the story, but as we all know, the conflict of aliens versus Predator never truly ends. Enter the Predator known as Dark, a warrior from the Elite clan and Lord's direct descendant, who, alongside two other Predators, were sent to BG-386 by their elder in order to investigate a distress call from a young blood pack. However, on his mission, Dark was eventually forced to retrieve a stolen Predator wrist bracer from Weyland-Yutani's research lab, which had come to be located on the planet. Before he did this though, Dark found Lord's biomask on the surface of the planet. Yeah, strangely enough, over the years, Lord's equipment came to be scattered across the surface of the planet for whatever reason. Through the biomask, upon entering the tomb of his ancestor, Dark saw Lord's first defeat of the Serpent, which was a xenomorph warrior. After he killed the foe, he tossed away the serpent's body in disgust as a show of dominance. This may also mean that he didn't find it worth it to take a trophy from this fight. Also during his time on the planet, one of Dark's cohorts, Wolf, was impregnated by the Xenomorph Royal Guard Specimen 6. This eventually created what was referred to as the Predalien, or as it's also called, the Abomination. This all came to a head in the Tomb of Lord. After witnessing the holographic recording of the first successful xenomorph hunt, Dark was nearly caught off guard by a swarm of other xenomorphs who were inside the tomb as well. He managed to defeat them, and even discovered that Lord was his ancestor. This was also where he discovered that the first alien queen was buried next to him. Dark decided to attach the wrist bracer he had gotten from Weyland-Yutani to Lord's sarcophagus and set it to self-destruct. This is when the Abomination reappeared. It tackled Dark to the ground, and the two fell into an ancient battle arena amidst a lake of molten lava, which just so happened to be under the tomb for some reason, where the two began their fight to the death. When all was said and done, Dark emerged victorious, and he dragged the Abomination's carcass to the roof of the facility that was above the pyramid, and hurled it to the ground in a display of dominance and in disgust as Lord had done before to the first xenomorph. This especially showed Dark's skills, considering that the Predalien, as the name would indicate, had all the skills of both the Predators and the alien at their disposal. With his mission now complete and the facility set to explode, Dark escaped from the planet aboard his ship. And as he walked through the halls, the other Predators bowed their heads to his presence and were in awe of the feats that he achieved. Surely words of his feat would echo through the halls of time as his ancestors had. But Dark wasn't done with the serpents just yet. Following this all, Dark commanded his ship's navigational system to plot a course for the planet that would be the site of their greatest hunt yet, Xenomorph Prime. Considering that this is the only time we ever hear from Dark, as the sequel doesn't follow the same story, but other events that happen to take place on BG-386, and that the xenomorphs are still around after this point, I'll assume that this decision went about as well as you'd imagine attacking a planet full of xenomorphs going. So much for the legacy of the first serpent hunter, huh? As of right now, Lord's only appearance within the 2010 Alien vs. Predator video game, which, as mentioned before, did have a sequel, but it didn't follow the events of the first game. Despite being an important part of the story's Predator campaign, Lord never directly appears in it. He's only ever shown as a hologram that Dark sees inside of the subterranean temple, which are mostly of Lord celebrating his victorious hunt of the xenomorphs, which, as stated, was the first of its kind. Because of this, not much is known about him, and we're not likely ever going to get a follow-up to this story in the near future. But maybe that's for the best. Sometimes legends should stay that way, being remembered for what they did rather than who they were. But what do you guys think of the first hunter and his legacy? Well, as always, let us know your thoughts down in the comments, but until next time, this has been Tim for HN Annotated.